Little win there. Man, man, I had a monster and I don't know where it went. Where's my wife when I need her? She would know where it's at. Well, I don't know where my monster went, but I had a backup, so I'm sure I'll find it sooner or later. I remember, I'm breaking ground right now for this new thing. I remember God broke ground in me. I was inside jail, and then He just started speaking into my life. I started reading that Bible. I started reading um a 40-day devotional actually, which led me to read the Bible because I wanted to look up the scripture in the devotional. So I started to dig a little bit deeper into it, and then I got a recovery Bible with all kinds of footnotes in it, and I started to understand stuff, you know. And it's kind of relates to this right there. Right now it just looks like a couple holes in the ground, but eventually it's going to be a big garage here, really big garage here. And this is doing right now is breaking ground for that so we can build something, like God when He met me, when He found me, or when I found Him, whatever way you want to say it. um I didn't find Him through the Bible. I found Him through a um Stephen Fortenberry, or not Stephen Fortenberry, though. I'm saying somebody I know personally. Um, uh, Stephen somebody. Anyway, Purpose Driven Life. It's a 40-day devotional, and man, it just started to speak life into me. Started to speak purpose into me. I remember one of them days was talked about turning, surrendering our lives to Jesus Christ. You know, and I did that. I made a decision that day to surrender my life to Jesus Christ and ask Jesus, ask God, you know, what did He want me to do? What was my purpose in life? And my purpose in life was to build, not just garages and things like that, but to build people. To take people that were in the same situation I was in and build them up so they could have some purpose in their life too. Build them up so they could be somebody. Build them up so they could be something. So they could build others up also. You know? And man, I spent a long, hard time in jail. And man, I came out. And when I came out, you know, first thing I did was, well, not the first thing I did, but shortly after I got out, you know, I built myself back up. Um, with the help of a lot of individuals that God put in my life. You know, God allowed me to build myself back up so I could be on top, so I could be a messenger to help build others up. I could speak life into others. I could help build others up, and you know, we did that through several different ministries, prison fellowship, care portal, which care portal to keep children out of foster care. Went in, put plenty of bunk beds up. I guess my pastor at the time had a good deal on bunk beds, so bunk beds is mainly what we did. Um, I know we did a few other things like go in there and go in there with some dumpsters and clean some people's houses out, stuff like that. But you know, we reached in and we touched these people's lives and helped build these people up so they didn't end up losing their children. Um, Prison fellowship. You know, we were able to give gifts to the children of those who have incarcerated parents. You know, we were able to let their um let their children know that hey, just because mom or dad's away right now, you're not forgotten. And you know, give them presents from their parents to keep them connected with their parents who are in jail. Um, and help bring hope and future and life to their parents too. You know, by keeping them connected and keeping that relationship. I know my boy Big Steve. I know he did 31 years in prison, and man, he loved it when we did the Angel Tree thing and all that. Because he said, you know, that helped keep him connected with his children while he was inside of jail. You know, and he loved that. He loved to be able to be part of that. You know, he's on the outside now with us, and it meant a lot to him to be able to be on the other side of something that helped him while he was in there. That's what it's about. That's what life's about. Helping others, helping others out, building others up, being a light to those in a very dark space, and building. Also, prison fellowship. We went down to Austin. I don't think it went nowhere because they're organized as they should be, and they went down there with a bill and really had no idea what they were talking about. Um, but you know, we did go down to Austin, Texas, and meet with some of the bigger politicians and stuff like that to try to change law. It seemed right at the time. It really did. But you know what? If you're a felon trying to get a job, you don't need to identify as a felon on your application. I don't believe in it. You know, there's people out here that identify as whatever they want to identify as, right? Um, you know, and I don't identify as a felon, and I would never put that on the application if I was ever applying for a job to go work for somebody else. You know, um, I'm a for I'm a forgiven felon. I'm a justice impacted individual, and that's what I identify as justice impacted individual. Because I was because my life has been impacted by the justice system. So you check that box or not. But I'm telling you what, I wouldn't because that's not what I identify as. That old person, that old me might have been a felon, but the new me's not. You know, and man, there's plenty of lawyers and Democrats and judges and all kinds of stuff like that. Man, they they should all be felons. They break law every day, all day. Falsify charges against people, all kinds of stuff. They're not in jail. They're felons. They don't identify as one. So why should I? Just a little little word of advice there for you. Um, and I don't believe that politics has a place in church either. You know, um, there's a lot of people that disagree with me with that and say, oh, we need good God following people running our country and this and that and whatever. But you know what? Think about that. Why do we let other people control what we do? Why don't we? Why aren't we the governing authority? It's not saying go run for politics or anything like that. I'm saying if we all stand together and go against whatever they say, whatever we stand on, uh, whatever we stand on is going to end up being the governing authority. You know, if if we all stand together, that little uh, cult that they have that they call the government has no authority over us. You know, that's all the government is. It's a cult. You know, the biggest cult, most organized cult out there. You know, they they lock people up for the RICO Act and stuff like that, for certain gangs and all that kind of stuff. Why aren't they all locked up? Why aren't they all felons? Why don't every one of them have the RICO Act on them? You know, because they ain't nothing but a bunch of criminals. You know, all the laws they make, they break. It's all right for them to do it though, because they make it. But if we all come together as one body, one person, under the name of Jesus, live right, do right, they don't have a chance against us. You know, all God has ever wanted us to do is love Him before all others, and love your neighbor as yourself. You know, Jesus took the whole Old Testament and summed it up in them two commandments. He sums it up as the the only two of these commandments that matter is pretty much what He said is love God before all others and love your neighbor as yourself. If you're following two laws, you can't break any law because if you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to harm yourself. So you're not going to harm anybody else. That means you're not going to steal from them. That means you're not going to fight them, beat them up, anything like that. You're not going to get over on them, do them wrong. You know, all comes back doing to others as we wish to have done unto us. You know, same thing. Love your neighbor as yourself. You know, and we don't want bad done to us. We don't do bad to other people. Um, if we don't do bad to other people, we don't have nothing to worry about in this world. You know, we all stand on one accord. The government has no reason to be in business anymore. They have no reason to have any kind of control over us because we're all following the law of God. And I can't see none of those comments right now because I'm not looking at my phone. I'm sure I've got comments rolling, but you know, I'm not here to fight or argue with anybody about my views. These are only my views, you know. This is how I feel about certain things and my perspective on things, you know. Um, my old pastor right now, he's running for political office. And we had a falling out right before he ran because he was hiding things from us. He was hiding things from us, from me, from the church, from everybody. And whatever, he already knew he was going to run for office. He already knew what was going on. He already had everything planned out in his head. But the problem is, he wasn't honest. He wasn't transparent with those closest to him or around him. So nobody else knew what was going on. until it came time to happen. You know, there's still people that go to his church that are loyal to him and love him to death, and they somehow think that um, he's going to be able to run political office and run a church at the same time. You know, this man was down in Austin all last week and came back to church to give service on Sunday. But what they don't understand is that may be happening now, but he's not sitting in office right now. Once he's sitting in office, that denomination of church that he belongs to is going to turn that church over to somebody else. And he's not no longer going to be there because he's going to be too busy with politics. You know? I mean, if you feel that's where God calls you to be, was in politics, why'd you ever get into the church game? Why'd you ever start preaching to people? You know? All governing authority is put in place by God. Right? That's what Romans 13:1 says. It's all governing authority was put in place by God. And we're to obey all governing authority. Governing authority is governing authority. It's not government. Government is a man-made system. It's a man-made system, and they made that system and built that system off of that verse. And that's why they call it the government. Because they say, oh, well, God told you to obey all governing authority. And we're the government, so you must obey us, whether we're right or wrong. Just like the Texas Parks and Wildlife officer that pulled me over last summer. You know, we had a good conversation, good solid conversation there one day, and he gave me his business card, told me to email him over all the stuff. He would explain everything to me and this and that. So took his business card, went home, wrote him up an email, sent it over to him the next morning, proofread it, double checked everything, double checked all my facts, ran through AI, made sure everything I was saying was in line, because I was trying to obey the government. I was trying to obey the government because some people would put it in my head at that point in time, and I had blinders on, and I was thinking government's governing authority and stuff like that, like a lot of people do. So I tried to follow along. I sent this man an email the next day, expecting an email back within a day or two. Kept checking my email, checking my spam. Nothing, nowhere. Well, 21, 22 days later, same officer pulls up on me. I had my jet ski on the trailer. I was only out on one jet ski with a friend. Okay? When this officer pulls up on me, I had my jet ski on the trailer already. And he said, oh, well, I told you to do this, 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 and this. Right? Why? You haven't done none of this? I'm going to write you tickets. Da-da-da-da-da. Whatever. And started writing me tickets. Well, in that time, me and one of the officers that he had in training there, we were sitting there cutting it up, BSing, sharing testimonies. Guy he had in training shared a testimony about his brother being a felon and stuff like that. Good old time. Well, this officer's getting mad the whole time, right? And it's funny because me and this other cop go over there getting along, laughing, joking. And man, this cop's just pulling inside because he knows he's doing wrong. He knows he's doing wrong. He felt the conviction in him when he was writing me them tickets. He knew he was in the wrong, right? And I said, well, why haven't you answered my email? No response. No. Oh, you should have followed what I told you last time we met. I did. I sent you an email, sir. You never responded to it. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do or not do. Now you're out here writing tickets, and I'm not even renting jet skis out yet. And he wrote me the tickets. Well, this officer got so mad. I was at the boat ramp on 66 in Rockwall and Ray Hubbard, right? This man got so mad and frustrated that me and his training officer sitting over there getting along, right? He got so mad. He wrote Ray Robertson the ticket. Crazy. Then I asked my pastor, I'm like, hey, do you know Judge such and such, whatever? And my pastor was like, oh yeah, we're good friends. You go in there, just tell him you know me. He'll dismiss your tickets. He'll throw away your tickets, right? That's before our falling out. Um, so I don't think nothing of the tickets. I'm like, cool, passing those and stuff like this, blah blah blah, whatever, you know. So I'm not gonna have no problems. Well, it takes them another 5 or 6 months to pull me into court. I get to court. Me and Pastor done had a falling out by this time. He done asked me to leave the church. Hey, it was bad, man. He asked me and my wife to leave the church, turned in the keys, tried to threaten to take the truck from me, all kinds of stuff. Um, he just his what he had planned in his head, like I said, didn't align with what we were doing, and we were moving. His plan didn't align with God's plan for us, you know. And they got mad and angry at that. Well, then I go into court for these tickets. All of a sudden, the story done changed. the the DA sat there and told me on these tickets. He said, oh yeah, this ticket's running in the wrong location, this and that. I agree with the email you sent me. They don't have no grand sound. We're gonna put in for dismissal. Well, I had a warrant at the time, still do, in Rockwall City, Texas, for a traffic ticket. So they keep me in court till the very last one. They're trying to confirm my warrant. They can't confirm the warrant, so they can't lock me up, can't do nothing with it, right? And they're getting all mad. So then the judge refuses to throw my ticket out. This judge is good friends with him, right? Refuses to throw my ticket out. And you know, I'm not speaking here to defame anybody's character or anything like that. You know, anything I say is the truth. I have text messages and all that kind of stuff to prove it, and to prove the relationship and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the judge refuses to throw my ticket out. Sets it in, postpones the court date, puts it in for a continuance. So I'm for sure that I'll go for this continuance in January. And as the DA said, they don't have a leg to stand on. Well, then by January, the DA done changed his tone, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well the officer's sworn statement and da da da." Well, buddy, let's look at this. Your officer's sworn statement has the wrong location on it. How does that make your officer's sworn statement in the least little bit validatable? You know why? And if this happened at the location written on the ticket, why am I in court here? Because Ray Roberts does not exist in Rockwall County. Ray Roberts exists on the other side of Fort Worth, over 60 miles away. Why am I in court here? And he's like, oh, well, if you want to fight the tickets, you're going to have to send it in for jury trial and this and that. So I tell him, okay, go ahead and give me jury trial. Right? So they go ahead and say they're going to send it in for a jury trial. And still to this day, I ain't got a court date yet. That's over a month later, you know. And them traffic tickets I got there in Rockwall, you know, I've done called these people up, told them I ain't got the money. I'm not gonna pay you. You want like $2,000 from me for some tickets from an officer who was harassing me in the first place, and I'm not paying you. Let me set the ticket out. Let me go do my couple days in jail and set the ticket out. And they're like, "Oh, well, we can set up a payment plan with you." Like you haven't heard me. I'm not paying you. Let me sit it out. And they won't let me come sit it out because what they want is they want to catch me driving through town, so then they can try to enforce the ticket and lock me up. Which makes no sense because when I was there already in the town for the other ticket, they should have came and picked me up then. But I guess they seen that I wasn't driving, my wife wasn't with me. They weren't gonna get to impound my vehicle, and that's what they want. They want to impound my vehicle, so they can try to give it back to Caston, and then Cash can try to keep it from me, which will cancel out all the money that I paid him on the truck, and I won't have a leg to stand on. And then I'll have to come after him and sue him for all the labor I have into the truck. So, back to what I was saying, all governing authority is appointed by God. Does not mean all government authority is appointed by God. Government and governing are two different things. And just because you have a position, an office, or as an officer or a judge or something like that, just because you got the Ten Commandments posted on your wall, does not mean you're a God following person. It does not mean you obey, obey them Ten Commandments. Um, so so that's that. But you know, but one day Jesus is coming back, and I don't feel I don't feel that time is too far off. Over in the Book of Revelations, it speaks a lot about a lot of the stuff that we have going on right now. Stuff we have going on in the world and the earth and all that kind of stuff. Revelations talks about it. It talks about false prophets. Talks about talks about sheep's and wolves in sheep's clothing and all kinds of stuff like that. It's just, it speaks about a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. It speaks about AI, um, and a lot of stuff that's happening with AI. I don't know if you know that or not, but Revelations actually it does speak about AI. It speaks about man-made statues that come to life. And what that's speaking about is speaking about robots. Speaking about speaking about robots that come to life that have no intelligence that speak over your life and stuff like that.
Man, it's cloudy out here today. I don't think it's supposed to rain, man. And I hope it doesn't. I think this hole is deep enough. Maybe go a couple more inches just in case. Come back. It looks like it might rain. I'll leave a little bit in here. Feels like I might have to come back and dig some more. Man, this thing right here, man, is awesome. I mean, it'd be more awesome to have a tractor just plug the holes in. Well, you got a tractor. It'd be more awesome to have a auger for the tractor, just plug the holes in the ground. But right now, he doesn't. And gotta work with what I got. God gives us tools to use them. Luckily, my buddy had one of these. 'Cause, man, this is the easiest hose I ever put in the ground. I love this thing. Next time I do a fence, I'm gonna buy me one of these. Come over here and borrow this from him. 'Cause, man, I can set fence posts so fast with this thing. Oh, and man, it sends that hole right on down in the ground too, right where you want it. Come hang string line up for a fence with this. I gotta make sure my holes are right on there. Yeah, but come hang a string line up on a fence for this. Yeah, get a fence done in no time with one of these things. And I'm in need of work here too, so if y'all's got any work that you need done, man, be sure to drop it down in the comments or whatever. Or subscribe to my page and check out some of my other videos. My number's on there with the jet ski rental and all that. Just contact me, man. The Jack of all trades, located out here in North Dallas area of Texas. And and I can do fences, I can do campers, automotive, jet ski repair, ATV repair. Just let me know what you got and what you need done. You know, brings up one of my favorite scriptures, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So many people misquote that Bible verse, man. They want to quote that when they're out here free, everything's going good. But man, they miss the context of that Bible verse, you know. Philippians 4:11, 4:12 talks about you know, living rich or poor, full stomach or empty, you know. And that's where that's where that next Bible verse 4:13 comes in. You know, saying I learned to be content, whatever situation I'm in, for I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. You know, that's what that Bible verse is about. It's about living on both sides of the fence. It's about being hungry or well fed. It's about living rich or poor, with everything or with nothing. And man, not everybody can do that. You know? A lot of people, you know, will um, come into church and praise God and love God and be part-time Christians, you know. And when everything's going well, they'll be there. Everything's going good, they'll be there. But the moment stuff starts going bad, you know, they wither away. They lose faith, you know. You can't do that, man. You gotta keep faith no matter what. God don't God don't want people that are just gonna praise him when things are going well. He wants people that are gonna praise him in the bad times too, and the down times too, when things aren't going so well. When money's tight, he wants people that are gonna have faith, no matter what the situation is. You know, my wife was out here worrying me the other week. We ain't got money for rent, and she thinks I do it just for fun sometimes. That you know, I wait till the last minute to make the money, pay the bills, and all that kind of stuff. But it's not the situation, you know. The situation is having faith. Having faith that God will provide all your needs. Not just all your needs. He promised us. He promises us to clothe us better than it did someone in the Bible. I can't remember the exact person or verse or anything like that. I'm well versed, but I can quote scripture, but I can't call it. You know, I didn't go. I didn't go through all kinds of schooling to become ordained or nothing like that. You know, I went through a little online class. And the only reason I went through that class to become ordained was so at the time we could fall in line with the government. Once again, the government to get stuff we needed from them, grants, all kinds of stuff like that. You know, so we could run our 501c3A properly and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? God is driving me in a different situation down a different road now. You know, doing this YouTube thing, running live, trying to monetize, trying to get you know, my watch hours in, my subscribers in, and all that kind of stuff. But there's a bigger picture to it. I'm not doing it just to make money. I'm not doing it just to become YouTube famous or whatever you want to call it. I'm doing it so we can eventually build a church, so we can build a house of God that does not take donations to run the house, fully ran and fully paid for off the monetization of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, that kind of stuff. Right? Whatever I can monetize off of and make money off of, that money's gonna go straight back into God, you know, and building His kingdom. So if you're listening right now and you support that. You support seeing a church built, and maybe we can start a movement, more churches built, and stuff like that. That that don't need outside funding to run it. You know, that run off its own thing. Because there's plenty of advertisers out here that'll pay me money that I can use to build God's kingdom. Um, and I'm not saying we're not going to take donations for various things and stuff like that, because people like donating money and giving back. But when they donate money and give them back, it'll be for different projects. It'll be for feeding people. It'll be for, you know, who knows, maybe going out to my boy's barbecue truck. Holy smokes. Just having him go set up one day downtown Dallas or something like that, and just give out free food to all the homeless and hungry people, you know. And, you know, the donations that we get will go towards stuff like that. It'll go straight to that food truck. So that food truck has the money to supply all that food for them hungry and homeless people, you know. Um, and other projects like that. Um, we want to try to sign a lease here in the future with the Army Corps and try to use one of these old abandoned parks, set up second chance housing for people, and reopen the park to the public at the same time. I think it's a really good, strong idea. If they'll let us do it, I don't know. But if not, God will make another way. God will provide another place somewhere else. But the place He set us up at right now, I really feel strongly that He put us there for a reason, so we can see that park, so we can revive that park, and hopefully the Army Corps will let us do it. Hopefully the government will let us come in there and use that space to help out others, and talk to several people in the neighborhood, made friends with several people in the neighborhood, and they all fully support me. So, God's will, it'll happen. If not, He'll make a way somewhere else. But like I said, if, if you support me, support what I'm doing, man, click that subscribe button, you know, like, comment, share with a friend, watch some of my videos, not my shorts, because my time on my shorts don't count. But man, if you're at a job and you got the time and you can do it, hey, just set your phone down for you and autoplay my videos, man. And get me that watch time. Help build up my page so I can do things. So me and my circle of people, so we can build up God's kingdom. So you can be part of building up God's kingdom. You know, every subscriber, every watch time on a video, on a live feed, you know, that all comes into play. And the longer you watch and the more videos you like, and you know, it helps build that algorithm that gets me out there to other people. So you know that you were helping God. You were helping build His kingdom. You were helping build His house without outside funding. You were helping help people just by a simple click, simple subscription, simple like, simple share. You're a big and much needed part of this ministry that God is trying to build through me, through my wife, through others around me. Man, the other day I went and got this fresh fade, man. I'm so proud of this fade too. Man, this lady Shay cut my hair. She did a wonderful job, man. And I went to Great Clips down there in Princeton, Not thinking nothing of it. Thinking, hey, man, rent's paid. Got a few extra bucks in my pocket. Man, I ain't had my hair cut in a couple months. I need to go get my hair cut real quick. So I went in there and got my hair cut. There was a bunch of people in there. And there was one barber, one hairstylist. She calls herself a barber or a stylist or whatever. But there was one stylist in there, one barber in there. I had it open. I sat down in her seat, man. She was telling me a little bit about her story. She was telling me, she was from California, just moved out here. She'd like to open up her own barbershop out here and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't have the funds to right now or whatever. But she was talking about it. And then she heard a couple barbershops over there in Cali. And she likes to give back to God too. She's an ordained minister too, you know. And God just puts the right people in your life at the right time. And I know He's putting people out there watching this video right now that are going to hear this message. And you can be one of them right people. You can help grow this into something big and strong that'll help many of other people just by a simple click. Remember, God sees everything too. God knows. God knows you heard that message. God knows you were moved to help Him. God knows that your click is helping build His kingdom. He loves you for that. And He sees that. And He will honor that and bless that. Also, I got one on there. I actually got 2 videos on there. We're going to give a couple away. A couple jet ski rentals this summer. Or either one of them videos, we're going to give away separate jet ski rentals. Once them videos reach 10,000 views, I think I put 10,000 likes on there, but really 10,000 views. The best comment, the comment that moves me, my wife, and I'm thinking I might be too much for just us to do so. Hopefully it'll be too many comments for just us to do so. Me and my wife, gonna get my pastor or somebody else involved in it, But the most touching, heartfelt, real comment in there to ride is going to get a free jet ski rental. We might even throw the whole experience with the videotape and all that in there. Because it's all about giving back, bringing freedom, showing people freedom on the water, and allowing people to experience a freedom they've never felt before. So we started going to this new church. We just became members the other day, and they have like the front section of chairs and then the back section of chairs. Well, there's an aisle in between, so I told my wife, I'm like, let's sit here in this back section, right? And man, so we're in the front row, so we don't have to climb over people to get up, go to the bathroom or stuff like that, whatever, get up, get donuts, stuff like that. We don't have to climb over other people. So we're sitting in that front row there. See this guy, haven't seen him before in the church. He's sitting behind me. He's been coming to church longer than us, actually. But man, tattoos all over him, tattoos all over his face, stuff like that. And a lot of times, he even said it, people look at them tattoos and they become very judgmental and stuff. And, man, I'm not gonna lie, I became judgmental too, but not in a bad way. I became judgmental of Billy. I said, man, look at this guy's tattoo, man. He's got a story. I got to talk to him. I got to hear his story, man. I, I wanna vibe with this guy. I wanna network with this guy. You know. We ended up changing numbers and stuff like that, man. He did, but this is how strong God is, right? This man said he did 37 years